Beach Up Sunset World.
Sushi,
Sumo, Tokushima!
この番組は地域密着型のボランティア活動を徳島で行っている国際ワークキャンプのメンバーがお届けする30分です。
This 30 minutes broadcast is hosted by volunteer members who come from abroad to help the community of Tokushima.
Good evening, everyone. I'm the host for this evening. I'm Rina from Japan, and tonight's guest is...
I'm Tetsuya Mori from Tokushima, Japan.
This radio program, Sushi Sumo Tokushima, is live on FM Bizan. This 30 minutes broadcast is operated by non-profit organization Bizan Daigaku. Bizan Daigaku has been trying to make Tokushima a more attractive place with volunteers who are from Tokushima and outside Tokushima, including people from many different countries. Popular images of Japan, sushi and sumo, yes, but we would like people around the world to know not only those images, but more things about Japan. We share the news from Japan and information about Tokushima, a place that welcomes foreigners from all over the world. We will also invite guests from overseas online to share the latest news with you. No one knows who will be talking or what kind of topics we will bring up. Don't miss it.
Sushi,
Sumo, Tokushima!
Hello, listeners. This is Rina again, and I'm hosting the show online thanks to this technology this week again. And let me call the guest of tonight, who is in the studio of FM Bizan, Mr. Mori. Mori-san, hello.
Hello, dear listeners and Rina-san. The last time I was here was last May, but since I've been listening to this radio show, I'm always familiar with your cheerful voice, Rina-san.
Oh, thank you. You're a heavy listener of this show, and I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And how are you today, Mori-san?
Well, I'm good, thank you. And you, Rina-san?
I'm good too. I did yoga today, and I feel refreshed.
That's good.
Thank you. And thank you for coming back to the studio.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you.
Mori-san, you're welcome. And could you introduce yourself to the listeners?
Sure. I was born in 1961 and grew up in Tokushima City until I went to the University of Hiroshima. And after that, I spent for 30 years outside Tokushima. I retired from my teaching job in Tokyo quite earlier than others at the age of 48 and returned to Tokushima, where my old mom had been living alone. I returned to Tokushima in May 2009 after enjoying 11-year-long stress-free life, which included 5-year-long teaching English at Joto High as a part-time lecturer here in Tokushima. I've been joining Hana Road project at Bizan Daigaku since July 2020. I've been here in the studio 4 or 5 times so far.
A lot of times already.
Well, I'm so happy to talk with you, Rina-san. Thank you for giving me this precious opportunity again.
You're very welcome. Well, last time you mainly talked about your experiences in your college life, including experiences with some exchange students from Asian countries like China. And do you have any topics you'd like to talk about today in your mind?
All right, let me see. I talk about recent Hanaload activities, the first thing in this evening, and I'd like to talk about things I'm thinking of recently in that part of the show. Is it okay?
Of course. Talking about Hana Road sounds actually great.
Okay. I'll explain what Hanaload activities look like. As you might guess, all the volunteer members from both domestic areas and foreign countries joining Bizan Daigaku are expected to water the flowers and to pull various kinds of weeds as well as to collect litters left on the streets. Talking of watering, we have a couple of 250-liter bathtub-shaped huge water containers with 4 wheels. And we need to refill 6 to 7 times at the designated spots. Some generous companies give us free water supply. Without their support, we couldn't cover a wide area which expands from the Tokushima Central Post Office to Sako Big Bridge across the Shinmachi River near a sushi shop. Say it's about 1.5 kilometer long. We also cover a median strip between UFJ Bank and Awaodori Kaikan and Aibahama Park. Actually, we can't do at the same day, so we divided the whole area into 4 or so and do it day by day. 2-hour work every morning is quite hard, especially for the aged having pains in their lower back like me. But all of us try to keep flowers' roots wet and our chattering library. Sorry. Have you joined the Hana Road project before, Rina-san? How was it?
I joined Hana Road only once, and it was when Shin Nissan, the president of Bizan Daigaku, couldn't be there. And I participated in the flower planting event, but only once, so I cannot talk much about it. So just once. Okay, I see. Then Alex continue to explain. You can enjoy seasonal flowers like pansy in winter, petunia in summer, and marigold in fall. Besides these routine works, we have big events 3 times a year. Yeah, as you said before, and transplanting flowers with local people such as company employees, children, and their family. That's one of the most precious, pleasant, and peaceful sight we have ever seen. And what's more, recently we enjoyed that elementary school kids and teachers visited us as a part of our out-of-school activities. Our leader, Shin Nissan, explained them about this Hanaload activities briefly, and then 30 to 40 kids do some work, like picking the flower that pass their best. We notice what they are doing it, while they are doing it, they encountered a lot of unknown small things or creatures and asked us a lot of questions, one after another. What's the name of this caterpillar? Why is this part of leaves different in color? And so on. Their sense of wonder seems to be in full bloom. Beautiful. Can you tell us more about the local people who are doing this Hana Road project?
Yeah, sure. The present core local members are 4. First of all, Shin Nissan, who is the boss. Sometimes he is called jokingly tough sergeant or onigunso. He decides every detail of today's work. The other 3 just have to say yes, sir. He plans he plans so well and show us what to do by doing himself. We all trust him so much. Next person is Masuda-san. She is always genki and cheerful like a comedian and say good morning to many passers-by. At first, they look a bit upset, but I think it's a very first step to build a sense of community. She is trying to sow seeds for that. I remember she was talking here in the studio 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes, that's true.
The third one is a newcomer, Kono-san. Unlike Masuda-san, Kono-san is a very quiet person, like a fairy or yosei, and also a specialist in the knowledge of weeds and weeding. She has a special pair of gloves with sharpened claws. We call it Mo's talon or Mogura no tsume. Her concentration reading is so tense that no one can talk to her while she's reading.
Wow.
I feel the same kind of aura from her as total concentration breathing in the movie called Demon Slayer or Kimetsu no Yaiba. Yeah. And last but not least, Maurice-san, is in charge of doing micro lecture or a bit academic flavor small talk on the spot. I also love to listen to what they're learning at their colleges and what their hometown are like. I was carrying an old electric dictionary in my waist bag to check my half-faded memory. In short, each person is playing a different role.
Nice. The Hana Road crew, or maybe I should call you troops.
Yes.
You sounds like an interesting group of people.
Yeah, well put. The numbers of people dealing with Hanaload depends on the day of the week or seasons of the year. Say 2 to 10 people join this work. Just 2 for this morning. Some members do other activities like keeping school kids safety with hand flags at intersection in school zone or visiting day nurseries that make outsiders welcome. They do that before or after Hana Road routine activities from 8:15 to 10 every morning except Sundays and rainy days. In my case, I make it a rule to join them from Tuesday through Friday, just 4 days a week. That's because I'm personally easy to get bored or burn out if I continue doing one thing over and over. Probably, I guess, same thing could be said to other members too. An old saying says, too much of one thing is not good. Especially, it's true when we believe we are doing nice and good things for others. We can't stop real pleasure due to some excitement caused by chemical materials in our brain. I think that's one of the important tips or cautions we all should bear in mind. Dina-san, do you have anything you keep in your mind when you do volunteer works or your professions?
Okay, that is a good question. After I graduated from a university in Tokyo, I chose jobs which seemed hard for me because I thought difficult situations would help me to grow up. They did help me, but I couldn't go on and I changed my job. So I try to think about if I'm good at it or I can enjoy it. Even what I do seems hard, I try to follow what my heart wants.
I see. Okay, I heard this project launched 6 years ago, so I've just been enjoying our 6th of whole history of this project. So I may be not the right person who talk about Hana Road activities. You can hear more about it from Shin Nissan. I hope he'll talk all about it here in the studio someday. Yeah.
Yes, me too. I hope so too.
Yes. He's listening to my request next to me, actually.
Yeah.
He's nodding.
Okay, so now we would like to play a song Mori-san requested. After that, we will talk about his life after he came back to Tokushima.
Okay, see you soon.
Sushi,
Sumo, Tokushima!
I'm back here with Mori-san. The song was
Yes.
What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong.
Yes, what a wonderful voice. I heard this song. I heard this song was made in the U.S. in 1967 during the Vietnam War. A movie called Good Morning Vietnam was released in 1987, and it led this song to the revival hit because it's used in this film. In that film. I personally love this song partly because the message, what a wonderful world, is exactly the same one of Buddha left at the last journey in his life. I wish I felt that world that way. And partly because old Louis Armstrong's deep flavored voice do something to me.
Yeah, the song is such a beautiful song.
Yes.
All right, Mori-san. I think you told us you returned to Tokushima 12 years ago.
Yes, I'm going on 12 years and a half now. Time flies, doesn't it? Do you feel time flies faster than before, Ina-san?
Yes, that is for sure. I think the older we get, the faster time goes.
Oh, really? Okay. Last time I talked about walking along the path in Mount Bizan. I was picking a leaf of trees and checked their names and details in books. Now I reflect what I am doing at Hana Road. As I said before, I do the similar things, not in Mount Bizan, but at the Bizan Daigaku. I mean, I watch plants closely almost every day and check their names of their background by some books or dictionaries. Time flows like rivers, but we are apt to do similar things repeatedly. Working in the Mount Bizan and doing volunteer works on Hana Road project are different from each other on the surface. However, most of these actions are like as two peas in a pot. Ina-san, don't you think so?
Yes, I think we can find things are actually similar even when they seem to be totally different things.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I've been passing my peaceful life with well-balanced tangible and intangible assets such as money, time, human relations, and health. My mom will be 92 tomorrow.
Oh.
Mom, happy birthday in advance.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, can you hear me? And fortunately, she's still in good health. If she had been sick and hospitalized, my life would have been drastically different one. Your loved ones' lives surely have a power to change your life. You never live alone. Have you ever experienced like that, Rina-san?
Yes, that is deep. In my case, my family is all well for now, fortunately. Of course, we're not perfect all the time, but I can spend time with them when I go back to my hometown. And I try to be a good daughter, sister, and granddaughter for them because every moment with them is precious for me.
Oh, sounds awesome. Okay. I also noticed that I'm getting old month by month, year by year. I feel my body has transformed into old man's one. That's a pity, but it's natural as well. My dad, for example, passed away when he was 67. If I were him, I would only have 7 years left. What should I do for the last 7 years? That kind of voice comes up from the bottom of my heart from time to time. That's a kind of scary question to me, but I cannot avoid it. I sometimes ask my mom how to deal with that fear of death, although she tried to answer that question. However, there's no perfect answer for that. Aging and death belong to the unknown familiar world to me. But now these concerns have popped up from my lower part of body and creeped up to my knees, my bottom, my lower back, and so on. I'm learning how man gets old through my own body. I, in a sense, notice my own body for the first time. That's quite thrilling. Rina-san, I guess you can't imagine clearly the process of aging, right? You are so young that you can forget you are aging. I think that's a precious moment in your life.
Oh, wow, Mori-san. I think I'm still young, but I totally feel it's not the same as when I was in my 20s.
Oh, really?
Especially when I think about my skin.
Oh, skin. Okay. I got it. Okay, last time I talked about the image of life as a drifting bubble in the huge river. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
I said, you are like, so to speak, a lonely bubble floating on the surface of a huge river called time and space, and you are connected with millions of bubbles at the same time. This image is quite the traditional one expressed by Kamono Chome, for example. So it has been since medieval ages in Japan, and I like this metaphor so much. I think this kind of image may be like a simple and rough picture of life, but it's getting a power to support yourselves when you have to step forward into the unknown world. I imagine that's one of the fundamental rules of some religions. I still remember my dead dad was looking for a clear image of life and death on his last sick bed. One day, he asked me what life and death are when I was in my 30s, like you. I couldn't answer his serious question well on the spot. Instead of getting his son's answer, he showed me his illustrations of life and death on his small notebook. 2 sketches with a pencil were there. One is a picture of 2 tunnels, and another is something like waves of the sea. He explained to me, my son Tetsuya, or my first name is Tetsuya, my son Tetsuya, listen to my interpretation. I've got here on my bed last night. These 2 tunnels are endlessly long and dark inside. First tunnel means before the birth, and second one after the death. And this short opening gap itself, the life. It's just a moment, but so light and bright. And next picture. Each wave of the sea signifies individual that has each peak, but under the sea, it's uncountable because it's seamless. The force that builds each wave is like vital force, or maybe you may call them a sea of genes. This life became his last lesson to me. Almost 27 years have passed since then. Nina-san, if you were asked that kind of question, how or what would you like to answer?
Well, that question is too deep for me. However, I feel this life is something I have only once, and death is something I will face one day, maybe tomorrow or 60 years later. But I can say this, I don't want to have regrets in my life or my last day. So I want to enjoy life with people I love as much as possible.
Okay. I think the pandemic has affected our lives so much, mainly bad thing, but it gave us a good opportunity to look at our real lives again. In my case, I've had plenty of time, say 12 years, to watch the nature closely and encounter people in Tokushima, especially Mount Bizan and Bizan Daigak. If possible, I like more people to have such time and opportunities.
Any message to the listeners?
Yeah, that's enough, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mori-san, for joining the show today. Did you enjoy the show?
Yes, of course.
All right. It seems we have almost reached the end of the program. We're waiting for messages from you with feedback or request.
Sushi,
Sumo, Tokushima!
This radio program, Sushi, Sumo, Tokushima, is being recorded live here on Bizan FM in Tokushima. So, Mori-san, here's the last question for you. What is your favorite English word or phrase?
Okay. My favorite English old saying is, every cloud has a silver lining. どの雲も裏は銀色 or 苦は楽の種. This saying encouraged me to face a difficult but wonderful world and life. That's why I like it.
That's great. Thank you, Mori-san.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. This program is operated by non-profit organization Bizan Daigaku. We are open to and accepting any forms of support or contributions you have to offer within the local community of Tokushima. Please do not hesitate to contact us if you wish to get involved by emailing radio@bizandaigaku.net. We are accepting requests and messages via email. Please send emails to request@bfm.jp, request@bfm.jp, including the title of the show Sushi, Sumo, Tokushima in your messages. You can listen to this channel FM Bizan on the internet with your PC, smartphones, and tablets. If you're accessing with your PC, go to the website www.bfm.jp and you will find a banner written Listen Radio on the right side of the page. If you're accessing with your smartphone or tablet, download the application Listen Radio, then select BFM 791 FM Bizan with area Chugoku, Shikoku. If you're listening to this radio in an area where it has a weak radio wave, don't worry. You can listen to programs with clear sound through this internet radio system. No one knows who will be talking or what kind of topics we will bring up next Thursday. Don't miss it. See you next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Bye-bye.
A bientôt.